In this video I will show you how I built this insane setup piece by piece from the initial blueprint until the last screw. It's geekering time!
Built to survive, ready to attack. If Stanley was alive, he'd sign my track. I walk alone and command respect. The Geek Reaper is here to collect.
Everything started with a sketch that I've drawn during one of my underground shifts at the mines. I didn't even have a house back then, but I knew exactly what I wanted to build. I wanted a workplace that feels like a cockpit. Something between the Millennium Falcon and Batman's computer station. I didn't want a desk. I wanted a command center. The first step was simple. I bought a big wooden board, strapped it on the roof of my car, drove it home, did some measurements and start cutting it. Nothing complicated, just basic carpenting stuff. However, installing the sliding keyboard tray was a nightmare. It's a 10-minute job for 2 people, but when you're alone, it becomes a 2-hour job. I still remember the moment it finally clicked in, pure satisfaction. The whole desk is suspended on top of this cupboard, which I actually found on the street completely rotten. I restore it, reinforce it, and now it became one of the pillars that hold about 50 kilos of equipment. I couldn't save the top drawer, so I just used the space for the center speaker. The drawers are full with electrical wires, tools, and action figures. At each side I have 3 subwoofers that also act as supporting legs for the whole thing. And for the front side, I used these 2 small cupboards where I kept some of my documents, batteries, pencils, and so on. But the main thing, everything gets balanced. My setup runs on 2 Sony Muteki sound systems, each one modified. I had to run more than 150 meters of cables to connect all the speakers. And yeah, one of the amps blew up while I was tuning. I've lost 2 days fixing it, but it's worth it because I've learned a lot. The subwoofer amps were built for only 2 subs, but the main amp allows extra connection to active subs, so I can add another 2 subwoofers. I was able to connect the 2 systems to my PC through an external soundboard and tune them from its software. In total I have about 4000 watts. Each system has its own hardware settings so that I can get the best possible sound where I'm in my cockpit working or when I'm at my working bench doing some 3D stuff or when I'm working out. On the left I have my cyber rig. This is my daily PC for video editing, Photoshop and some gaming. Inside I place my cybernetic figures, Cyborg, Violator and the T-800. And outside I have my Weapon X in the Biochemical chamber. On the right I have what I like to call the Alien Research Facility. This is my experimental PC. It's red neon and it's built to look like an infested research lab. I built a custom water cooling tank and I put the Independence Day alien inside the tank. Outside the PC, I have its organic suit in the biochemical chamber. In a previous video, I infested this rig with some xenomorphs. But because I already have a shelf dedicated to aliens and the predators, I need to think about a different alien species. Drop your ideas in the comments. The display layout is inspired by Batman's computer. The main screen is for work, the top center is for YouTube tutorials when I need to follow 3D modeling or editing, the right is for CCTV and the left is for WhatsApp and music. I displayed my Batmobiles under the monitors and I think it's the perfect spot considering the color contrast. On top of the left tower I have Cherno Alpha and my drone remote. And on the right tower I have Knife Head and I'm also hiding my drone in this space because it just looks like a spaceship hangar. And that's it. This is my command center. If you got some inspiration today to create your own, drop a comment, like, share, subscribe. If you also want to have a cool biochemical chamber on your desk, have a look at IronWing Collectables for really cool display solutions for all your action figures. Link below. And I will see you in my next display.
Press like to ignite your inner flame. Subscribe to the movement, earn your name. Share the rise of the geek culture's might like